Dwayne has asked me to do today, get some of your ideas, some for guidelines for what we can do in the future.
I think we got a very strong clue of what can be done in this last election, and the fact that, and this has been pointed out indirectly, I think, in some of the comments that have been made, is that, for example, move to amend was approved everywhere it was voted on, and I think there were a lot of other wage fairness and other issues like that. And I think that if we had stressed more of these issues and how it impacts the population, I think that would have been, and I think that's a clue to us as maybe what we can do in the future, because I know personally from having been involved locally in the move to amend thing that I got what I would consider a far-right person voting for that or signing the petition for that. And while I may not agree with his other political positions, I think that's a good start. That a lot of people, if it's properly presented, will understand that money is, really a big issue in all of this.
I think it's the message. The fact that people voted for progressive ideas and then conservative candidates was because I think they thought the conservative candidates were going to deliver the progressive ideas. I mean, that's what the mistake, yeah.
My name is Philip Blank. I've probably worn almost as many hats as Keith has. I've known him since he was hired at MATC, global warming and climate change. And I can simply say, if we do not address ourselves to the mitigation of that, all else is lost. As for the corporations, they are on a collision course with suicide, and they will take all of us with them. Now, if you look at the insurance companies, they are wise to this. Perhaps they ought to be studied. Why the hell do we have a one-dimensional model of politics? And I got to thinking, why do I agree in some instances with a conservative and in some instances with a libertarian? I discovered they're in a different dimension. I propose we have 3 dimensions and possibly a 4th, but ideas. That's really the left-right thing that we have. Things, at a minimum, food, clothing, and shelter. And people. Some people are no damn good, and I'm sure you know some people that feel that way, all the way to people who have unalienable rights with the opportunity to develop their skills to their fullest amount. Now, if we have such a model, that would force political parties to define the 3 spaces that they occupy. And that would give accountability. Now, the 4th dimension, non-denominational spirituality.
As a candidate for Senate in this last election, I made an awful lot of observations. And I took it upon myself to do a great deal of learning. And it seems to me that the key to the Democratic Party's winning elections in the future is to understand that happiness is a very important thing in everybody's life, and it can be measured. Other nations, other developed nations, have come to this conclusion with great success. Bhutan being the first in 1970 and has now a tremendously successful economy. England, amongst the last, most recently, to jump on this bandwagon. Australia, the Scandinavian countries, France, Germany, have all jumped on this bandwagon, understanding that happiness amongst the people who live in their countries is something that can and should be measured. If you think about it, happy people don't shoot one another. They're better drivers. They're better parents. Happy students do better in school. Happy employees produce more. If we, the Democratic Party, would start advancing this concept, we could win. Because the thing that Democrats and conservatives, progressives and conservatives, Democrats and Republicans all have in common is that the majority of the people here are unhappy. If we deal with that, good leaders look at the people that they are leading, the people that they are supposed to represent, and they measure the happiness quotient. And if they see that there isn't a whole lot of happiness, they figure out why. Where is the happiness and multiply it. That's what a good leader does. Right now, we have leaders across this state and across the country who are looking at their constituents. They're seeing where the happiness is, and then they're pointing a finger and saying, look at those people. They have more than you do. We have to take it away. But a good leader says, look at those people. They're happy, they're happier than you are. I will help you get that too.
Gross national happiness. It is something that's been around for quite a few years, and there's a lot of literature done about it, and it might be something that some of us might want to research a little bit.
Been kicking around two ideas. One is something that relates to Wisconsin Grassroots Network that I think they may be able to spearhead this. It would be a statewide campaign, fundraising campaign, to raise money to run TV ads in certain areas of the state on issues, not on candidates, but on issues like move to amend is a prime example of one of the issues that goes across party lines. Everybody agrees on it, or the majority of people agree on it. We need the right messaging in those TV ads, and like in Milwaukee, run it during Charlie Sykes' show. You know, run it on during radio and TV ads. But it's going to take money to do that. But that could be fundraised statewide by grassroots organizations. Another idea I thought about is confronting our elected officials. I live in Wauwatosa. My representative is Mr. Sensenbrenner. And the majority of people in his district support Move to Amend. We need to confront him at his town hall meetings in a nice way, not a confrontational way, but in a nice way, asking him why he is not doing what his constituents want. Why is he answering to the money instead of his constituents? You're going to have a lot of conservatives there, and you got to word it right so that you spark a thought in their head. And yeah, I agree with that. Why isn't he supporting what we want?
I'll do that with you.
Right.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
I've been proposing almost since day one, discussing it with Nate many times, and I think Bob was at the meetings, Adam's been at the meetings, I know Marshall was at the meetings. Well, we should be organizing by senatorial districts.
Yes.
And we had a good discussion about this just this past Wednesday. Keith was there, Jim was there, Tom was there, Marshall was there, and we agreed 100%. We should be organizing by senatorial districts, and then within each senatorial district, elect people at the assembly district level. The powers going to make changes will lie in the state legislature, not in the county. And we had better start electing better state senators and better members of the assembly. Otherwise, we'll never get Move to Amendment to the Constitution ratified. There aren't the people in the legislators, not only in Wisconsin, but across the country. So I'm recommending we actually study this. Keith really likes the idea. Maybe he wants to add to it.